Hello, I'm Jen, the CEO of the Out of Practice podcast empire. I'm here to announce that the state of our podcast, well, it isn't that strong. The numbers are down universally in regards to our show, our audience, and popular opinion of our hosts. Some suits at the network have lobbied to shut the show down. Some have asked that Keith and Mike be replaced with sock puppets with more personality. Others still have suggested we move the podcast to our sister podcast streaming service, Oopsy. Well, after careful deliberation, I have decided purely on gut, and despite all clear evidence to the contrary, to officially renew the podcast for Season 6. After all, you have to admit those jingles are catchy as hell. With this momentous announcement out of the way, and a hefty mimosa poured, it is now my pleasure to introduce two middle-aged white guys who have shoehorned themselves into suits that do not fit, Keith and Mike.
The practice with none of my friends. I turn the dial to ABC to see the creep of the week that Bobby Donald defends. But I'm out of practice.
With your hosts, Keith Varney.
Out of practice.
And Michael Joseph Indiglio.
Way back in high school, most every night, my mom watched QVC, so I missed the practice. There was no TiVo, what could I do?
Oh, you've got a tie on.
Wait 15
yeah,
years,
I do.
get fat, then streaming on Hulu. Out of practice.
Oops, we did it again. It's the Season 5 Oopsies.
It took a worldwide pandemic, and you still couldn't shut us down.
Out of practice.
Welcome to the Season 5 Out of Practice Oopsie Awards. Tonight, we hand out the prestigious awards for distinguished achievements on The Practice Season 5, starring Dylan McDermott,
Cameron Manheim,
Steve Harris,
Lisa Gay Hamilton,
Lara Flynn Boyle,
She Make-a Me Happy Kelly Williams,
Jason Kravitz,
and Marla Sokoloff,
with appearances by Bruce Davidson,
Colin Taylor,
CCH Pounder,
Bruce Davidson,
Michael Emerson,
Ernie Sabella,
Renee Aubergenois.
that creepy guy from the Green Mile,
Bruce Davidson is still here.
Unnecessary Crossovers,
Pregnancy drama.
Dookie,
Helen McMurderer.
Explosion,
Assassination.
Anal Leakage,
Fourth wall getting massa chewed to pieces.
Babies, Babies, and Babies.
And Bruce Davidson won't leave. And now your hosts, Keith Varney
And Michael Indiglio. Almost.
We timed it out so perfectly. Holy shit.
I'm already laughing. Laughing.
We did it. Here we are on the stage at the Out of Practice amphitheater for our Season 5 Oopsies.
Keith, 20% capacity allowed in today, 20%, which of zero turns out to still be zero.
No, absolutely. And everybody is masked, which they were before to protect their identity, but now also for safety. So first off, I think we should just point out we have brought the first class fashion. Again, this
Swag, baby.
Swag. Last time we did tuxedos, but now we are doing some very classy fashion. If you're not watching on the YouTube, what are you doing?
Yeah, really
You
no
should be
point.
watching
Really
the
no
YouTube
point.
Because we've worked so hard on the video of this for no reason. So please, at least give it a view, because there's a lot going on.
Keith, I do want to point out that despite our fashion, I still am rocking mismatched socks and PJ pants.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you think I'm wearing hard pants, you are sorely mistaken, sir. But I am wearing a silver suit with a silver tie and a beautiful black shirt from Van Heusen. And you are wearing, looks like a red jacket with an Oops t-shirt. And hey, you know what? I'm just getting Twitter is already abuzz.
Oh my goodness, are we trending?
Yeah, I think we might be trending on Twitter. Are you looking at the list there? Maybe something came in about my jacket.
Yeah, definitely. I think yours are funnier. So why don't you read mine first?
We should go back and forth, man.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Okay, so oh wait, hold on. Chris Farley at Chris Farley is written in. Yeah, he
Back from
wrote
the dead.
in regards to at Keith. I already did the fat guy in a little coat joke. He says, Keith.
Oh yeah. Well, to be fair, I bought this jacket in 2011 in Korea when I was a much younger man and much more confident that I wasn't going to bloat up.
Oh, that's the suit you're wearing in all the award pics.
That's right. I wore this on national television in Korea and then got super fat, and I can talk about not being able to button. I can't even reach for my
the way the
champagne
microphone
flute.
is cropping out your tie, you sort of look like you're a priest who decided to get spruced up for the eve.
That's not a good thing. Oh, I'm getting another tweet about your suit.
Oh, yeah.
At old guy next door raves. Are you okay? Do you need any help? I haven't seen you out of the house in months.
I'm thank you for your concern and
Little
the
concern.
and
Nice.
the religious paraphernalia you keep leaving on my door. I appreciate both, and I assure
very
you
nice.
I'm doing all right. Wait, Keith at Jillian Keith's wife. Yeah, what a very indicative handle.
Yeah, you think she should be just herself. I don't know why she would identify herself that way. Maybe because in real life she didn't want her full name on the podcast.
She bemuses. I used to work in a mob-owned Italian restaurant downtown. You look like a guy who would come in wearing too many rings and Drac Noir.
That is actually her joke. She said that this morning when she saw my outfit. It was impressive. She said those guys, like the old mob guys with all the rings, and their suits are a little too small. They're always coming in with their mistresses, who they called meals on heels.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Nice.
Oh wait, I'm getting another one. Oh, look at this. At that Starbuck girl demurs about your outfit. Cat threw up on your jacket there, huh?
Oh, no. This is what the fashionistas call rust, Keith. This is a rust color.
Rust.
Yes.
Oh, well, yeah, it's not me. It was that Starbucks girl. So,
Little story I got to tell you. I bought this when I was going on a cruise contract because I was like, oh, it's contemporary, it's hip, it's nice. And I was going to wear it with these cool leather shoes. Anyhow, first day I wore it with a t-shirt and the blazer style like you got here, because no real tie goes with this throw-up color.
right.
The dining hall sent me back. They said no. I was on a Cunard ship, it turns out, and they said,
Oh, wow.
all right. Oh,
Get
Keith.
a tie, sir. Yeah.
Keith, at Keith from when he bought this suit says, he's tweeting in, this is a trending, it says, dude, what happened? Did you eat the last decade?
I did.
At least you must be super rich and famous and powerful to get away with looking like that. What? Oh, you have a podcast? Oh, how many listeners? For the week? Oh, well, that's not too bad. Oh, you mean all time? Oh, no. And who do you host the show with? You know what? I don't want to know. So, good tweet.
Yep.
I don't know that meets the character limit, but...
They extended it for Trump.
Oh, okay,
so.
cool. Great.
Oh, wait, I'm getting another one here. At Mike's actual mom says, you need to start running again. I can see your belly.
Yeah, that was from this weekend.
Did she really say that?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. There's
Oh, if my mom did that, I'd push her in front of a car.
Yeah,
Which I'd like to point out, my mom is now listening.
Well, she can see your belly too, Keith. Sorry.
She can see it from space.
The Mars rovers send it in high def pics.
Oh my God! Although I'll tell you about it later. But she's actually like been listening to episodes. It's pretty awesome.
That is cool.
Oh, you know what? Shoot, I have another couple tweets coming in.
Oh, you do? No, because I'm fresh. I'm plumb out.
Yeah. Oh, it's so funny. They're all about your outfit. I don't know why that would happen all of a sudden.
Who could have possibly done that?
I don't know. Actually, you know what? Will Ferrell.
Oh, no.
Will Ferrell just tweeted. He says, Mike, your costume for a night at the Roxbury is perfect, except you look like me in old school, not in Roxbury. But your co-host is rocking a legendary center part.
Oh, nice.
Which he wore in Roxbury. There's another one. At Glory Days. Says,
the musical?
No.
We are not hot enough to be in there.
That is a deep cut. I saw that. Anyway, At Glory Days says, weren't most middle-aged guys desperately trying to cling to the 90s actually cool in the 90s? No. It's like you're still wearing those Oshkosh bagoshes from first grade when you peed yourself in Mrs. O'Brien's class.
Ooh. I had a Mrs. O'Brien. She was a gym teacher.
I had Mrs. O'Brien was my first grade teacher. And lastly, Spencer's Gifts says, the ironic t-shirt with a coat. It's like a beacon that says, I'm still a virgin, but I'm trying something new.
Wait, Keith, this just came in. Hold on.
Another one came in?
Yeah. It's from At That Altar Boy.
Oh, no.
No, I'm just kidding.
I'm getting rid of this mic.
I'll leave it there.
No.
We haven't even started yet, folks.
Oh, my God. So we have just to chit-chat a little bit. First off, we have a big celebration this weekend because it is our CEO Jen's birthday.
Ooh, which I guess we can celebrate now that she's renewed us.
Yes, what a relief. I mean, I was pretty scared. I wasn't sure we were going to get the renewal, but we're very happy. Happy birthday, CEO Jen. Thanks for the renewal.
She had a great birthday. All she wanted to do was get a hair iron thing so she could do beach waves, because I think that's a thing. Anyway, those are the words that she said, so I'm assuming that they are a thing. And do her puzzle, which she did until like 2 o'clock in the morning last night. So
that sounds awesome.
It was fun. I went to pick up breakfast for us. I didn't make breakfast. I went and picked it up from a local establishment, and it was full to the brim, and there was a line out the door. So I guess, yay, we did it.
Yeah, it's all done, right? Yay.
I guess so.
Yikes. We actually got takeout last night. As well. And speaking of Italian places, we just went and got some Jersey Italian takeout, and I got a carbonara, which I really enjoy. But Jersey Italian food is very different than the Italian food I'm used to, because I felt like this plate of pasta was actively trying to kill me. Like, the pasta came in like half an inch of like oil or melted butter. I don't even know what it was, but when it congealed in the bottom, and I couldn't even like wash it out. I had to scrape out. It was horrible. It was not a pasta dish. It was a murder weapon.
Keith, I think you're gonna have to Jersey pasta take out that suit.
Take it out where?
No. I mean, like it's like you take it out.
Because it's not a good suit.
No. It's too small. You need to take it out.
Oh.
The best jokes are ones you have to explain for 3 minutes.
There is no taking out this suit. There is no. I
love that you have it
fabric
still.
It needs. Well, because I actually I bought it when I was in Korea, and we went to this there's this tailor right outside the U.S. military base in Daegu. And so he had like these great deals, and he was making full custom suits for like $200 a piece. So I went and I bought a couple, and this was like the crazy one, like the silver, like reflective sort of a deal, because we were because the awards show for the festival was nationally televised. So and we were performing on it, and we won some stuff, and so I wanted to have something like cool, and I don't think it ever became cool. Look, I was trying. Okay, this was my glory day, and but the problem was it was already a little too small then, and I was maybe 55 to 60 pounds lighter than I am now. It was really quite something, but it was definitely it was a look. And so this is more like a memory. Like, I could never wear this. I don't think anyone, like, my left leg couldn't wear this anymore.
Actually, it's very symmetric, because last year at this time I wore the My Glory Day Frankie Valli jacket, and
right.
Now there's no hope of even trying to get into that. So what a difference a year makes, which I guess segues us into a little chit chat we should discuss.
You mean is it time to talk about
This
summer
day in the basement.
Time to talk about
Yes.
this summer in the basement. So between season 5 and season 6, we spent the summer of 2001. You know, we talk about like the last summer of innocence, the last whatever. This is kind of that for the country.
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. You sent me some pictures, or is that where we're going right now?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.
Which should we start here? I'll just show one and you talk to me about it.
That sounds great. So this summer, my girlfriend and I, as I mentioned before, we stayed in Rochester that summer because we wanted to get an apartment for my senior year, and the lease was for a full year, blah, 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 blah. But the best thing that we did that summer is we adopted a kitten that we named Frog. And there is Frog. When he was a kitten in our first apartment there, he was awesome. He would be joined by a brother, which we will talk about when that happens. But yeah, it was like a crazy, my first sort of adult-ish summer. Living with my girlfriend and working at a job. And I worked at a brand new little sort of like, it wasn't a bakery. It was like a convenience store / super high-end sandwich shop.
Okay.
And I was one of the very first employees there. And so it was my first time sort of as like a line cook. So I'd be doing, super good sandwiches, but also some like, egg stuff. So I had to learn how to do all that kind of stuff, and some grilled chicken. Like, it wasn't like wasn't like a chef or anything like that, but I was doing some line cooking in that restaurant. Again, making like the princely sum of almost $7 an hour. But our rent was $500 a month,
Right.
which we split between the two of us at that point. So I had a really fun time at that place, and then I found out years later. I was talking to my friend Derek, who is from Rochester. I mentioned the place that I worked at, and he's like, "What, Magnolia's?" Because Barack Obama dropped in to that little deli that I worked at a few years later, and there he is, and the counter behind him is the one I worked at all summer. So it was pretty cool. I did not try to accept a sandwich from that guy on the podcast. Sounds beyond sanitary. At least.
But if any man was going to give me a panini, actually, my Obama is very, very Yogi Bear.
Panini,
He has been getting into a lot of picnic baskets.
Picnic. Yep. We gotta get some cheese on it. Yeah.
Yeah, this was an interesting summer for myself as well. I finished
sure.
the run of Tribute, which was a show I talked about at the Dutch Country Players here in Pennsylvania, and my girlfriend at the time, or ex-girlfriend, we were in that, lovely in-between period I've talked about many times.
Always fun.
Really convinced me that I should leave where I lived and get out. And so at the time I was taking a few classes at Westchester University, some computer classes. and on an old Apple, I was learning Adobe something or other, Adobe Creative Suite, like the first version. And
Sure.
I did. I went to New York City on my own, and with my Frank Wildhorn's "This Is the Moment" and Simple Gifts.
Yes.
And Simple Gifts, I auditioned at 73rd Street and Broadway at the Ansonia,
Wow.
and that was where my little school, AMDA, the conservatory, was housed at the moment. Now it's got campuses all over the place. You can actually get a degree there. That was not the case for me, but it was sort of a pretty monumental moment for myself.
Wait, so you
because,
started at AMDA that summer?
I actually ended up going that fall, but this is when I auditioned
You
that summer.
auditioned for AMDA. Oh.
And I remember I auditioned for Christian Fletcher and Elaine Petrikoff and this guy Darren Cohen, who would go on to be one of my coaches for many, many years. They probably would prefer I don't associate my career trajectory with them, but
That's true. Like AMDA's stock just nosedived.
But I remember after I sang "This Is the Moment," they asked me. I wish I could remember. They're like, "Well, just pick up what's a pop song you love." And I remember my go-to is always Radiohead's "Creep," and they asked me to sing that. And I think that's when they were like, "Okay, he's got a modicum of talent," and because you don't generally a Frank Wildhorn "This Is the Moment" is not. Should not be your go-to audition song, but I hadn't learned that yet, so I guess
didn't know. I mean, we talked about it a little bit last week. Like we were just children; we had no idea what was appropriate. I'll top that bad decision, and I'll give you this one. So when I was doing theater summer camp back in, I think it was like '95, so I was only like 15, and they had bring in a song. And I was like, trying to find something that was in the right key for me. So I went in there with a straight face, without thinking anything about why this would be weird. I sang "I Dreamed a Dream."
Oh.
From
Okay.
sung by a female prostitute who at that point had lost all of her teeth and hair. And this 15-year-old boy was like, "I dreamed a dream and time gone by." Bad. It was bad.
You know what I remembered? I wish I don't have a copy of it. I wish I did. So I don't know if I actually ever mentioned this, but when I first went to Ithaca, which I've already left at this point in our podcast history, I was studying as a countertenor. I was placed as a countertenor.
Right.
And the first performance I had to do was with this guy Bruce, and we sang two countertenors sang the Piezu. That's beautiful. I think it's the Andrew Lloyd Webber. Am I mistaken?
I
Sarah
think he
Brightman
has
always
one.
sings it. Yeah, that's the one. That one. And I know that I have it recorded somewhere, and I got to find it. But speaking of, Keith, I wanted to. One of my favorite parts about the Oopsy Spectacular is that we kind of surprise each other with random things.
Uh-oh.
No, not yet. I'm not going to embarrass you just yet. Okay. The first thing I wanted to say is that I've mentioned my girlfriend and the song that was sort of stolen and reappropriated to different events. in my life.
Right.
Now I will not. You and I both know that there are certain things you keep in the vault because you just can't listen to. I forced myself to find. So I found that this summer I had recorded. So we were like broken up, but I was kind of trying to get back in. But then I did some stupid stuff, and she like didn't want to get back with me, which is for the best. Both of our lives turned out so much better because of that. But I did try hard, and so I recorded a version of the song, which I found from the summer of 2001.
Yes.
It might have been a little earlier, but this is, what's important is that I found it. I will not. It is a very bloviated version of the song. It is 8 minutes and 45 seconds long.
Yes.
And I do this 1 and 10 second intro. And all I had was my acoustic guitar with too many crazy effects on it, out of tune, and like a Casio keyboard. And I decided for some reason, my musical genius, that I was going to have like a pan flute solo.
Yes.
So where I will not play you the song, I will play you the 1 minute and 5 second intro, including pan flute.
Yes.
Hopefully this works. Let's see if I can get it. You ready?
Yes.
Let's all listen.
Oh my God, strings?
Oh, I went for it.
Yes.
Dissonance? I mean, there's a pan flute. There's a.
Oh, those cats.
How about bad drums?
Oh, hell yeah.
And
You
then
know, I gotta say, like, and I hate to throw a little moment of sincerity into this nonsense, but pan flute decision aside,
How many times in your 40 years, Keith, have you had to say, yeah, pan flute decision aside?
you know, more than you'd think, somebody who was asked for advice on music.
No.
I'm telling, like, you are still, you were such a talented little motherfucker because like that's great. I mean, like, obviously the technology has improved or whatever, but like, I'd want to hear the rest of that song, pan flute aside.
Pan flute aside. Yeah, actually, I'll have to let you listen to some of my college things. The other thing I was trying to pull up to play, because it happened just recently in this timeline, is, one of the classes I loved from Ithaca before I inevitably left was this history of the recording arts with David Rothbart, Dr. David Rothbart. So fascinating, because it began with a bunch of atonality and ambient, what most people would call noise. I think we've discussed this before. And I had to we had to do a big project, and I was just fascinated with it. And it was like a 12-minute piece, and I was scored pretty well on it. I had a lot to learn, obviously, as a freshman, but it's on reel to reel. So there is literally no way to access it to play.
Oh, my father has one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
get
I'd
it
love
to me.
to. Yeah, okay.
I'll see if we can. I think he still has one. He definitely had one at some point and was like taking stuff off of it. Yeah, well, we should move on because we have a lot of stuff
We do.
We're gonna finish. So stick around. We're gonna finish the show with some bloopers. You're gonna
We got
enjoy.
some great stuff. We've
got some great stuff coming up. But I will also say, thinking about what you just played, your recording technique and abilities were so vastly superior to mine at that point. I have so much material from that time, but I'm not just embarrassed about the writing of it, but also the recording and performance
Yeah, I feel that
of it
way
is
too.
unplayable. Whereas what you just did there was like, oh, that's like pretty much done.
Well, it was on a Tascam. I was using a Tascam legit cassette 4-track.
Hell
But
yeah,
Keith,
you
I want
were.
to show you something real quick.
Oh.
I think I've showed it before. Hold on, it's here. I'm sure of it. I just saw it an hour ago.
Show me some stuff.
Hold on.
All right.
Yes.
Well, here.
No. Here it is. So you just lambasted your own. Oop! I just broke a CD. There goes history. I want to show you because I still have.
Oh God, that's one of the Christmas cop-outs. That's geekish tendencies. That is unquestionably the worst Christmas cop-out CD I ever put out.
But I mean, look at the artistic direction. Look at the framing. I mean, this is not. Don't sell yourself short.
No, visually. I mean, as a graphic designer, like I was sort of where you were music. I was like, all right, I'm an enthusiastic amateur. I'm still figuring out the toys. The toys are pretty limited back in 20 years ago, but I'm doing it. The music production element of it was a disaster.
And well, your brother was like is a pro, right? Or
Oh, for sure. Yeah, and
obviously.
I think he didn't speak to me for about 15 years after trying to piece together my bullshit for the Christmas Cop-Out CDs.
We're going to move ahead. But I did want to point out before we do, because I know that hot cat content is what's keeping us renewed for season 6.
Yeah.
I do want to let everybody know that Dee Dee Boy had made it through his surgery.
Oh, yes.
5 teeth removed, as well as all of my monies. And he is a champ. His mood has actually pretty distinctly changed. I think he was actually pretty uncomfortable, which is why he was so snappy. And so he's actually sleeping over here right now like a good little boy. So Dee Dee's good. Thank you for all of the messages and text and stuff. And by that, I mean Keith.
Good job, Dee Dee. Charlie is asleep in his chair. He's now claimed a chair behind the green screen that I hung up on a mic stand. So, all right, let us move forward. And I'm not doing a full one, but I've got a few little things from the summer.
It's time for the Out of Practice Podcast's This Day in the World. The greatest hits, the biggest movies, headlines from Vermont, essential sports updates, and for some inexplicable reason, the weather from 20 years ago. Now back to Keith and Mike.
All right, so this summer, the summer of 2001, the top movies were The Fast and the Furious, the first one.
Never watched
Legally Blonde, which became a musical. Jurassic Park 3, which I saw in the theaters and thought was underrated. I think it's a very enjoyable romp. And Planet of the Apes, the bad one, with Marky Mark.
Oh,
the
boy.
top songs included Lady Marmalade from the Moulin Rouge soundtrack, which is also now a musical. You Remind Me by Usher, or performed, I don't know if Usher wrote it. I've talked about this before, but like every time they say the singer who sang it wrote the song, they didn't necessarily write the song, they just sang it. And Fallen by Alicia Keys. And for a very quick
It's time for Sports Ball.
So, I'm going to give a tainted sports update. The summer of 2001 included Barry Bonds spent the summer roid smashing baseballs on a way to a record 73 home runs.
Oh, that was then.
Lance Armstrong roid smashed his way through winning the Tour de France. Vince McMahon roid smashed his finances in the inaugural and only season of XFL football until he did it the next year. All right.
Summer of roids is what you're saying?
Summer of roids. It was a very roidy summer. All right. So now it is time to talk about what happened in the awards season for The Practice. In the 2001 Emmys, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres, we were up for Best Guest Actor. The nominees for Best Guest Actor included Michael Emerson, Renee Auberjonois, and from other shows that are dumb, James Cromwell for ER, Patrick Dempsey for Once and Again, and Oliver Platt for West Wing. And do you want to know who won? Can you guess? Possibly because I sent you the picture?
Could it have been this guy?
Michael Emerson! Mr. Hanks won an Emmy for that season, for season 5 of The Practice. Way to go. It was Michael Emerson's first Emmy. And he beat out Renee Auberjonois as Judge Doofus on The Practice.
Well, that's
Also-
nuts that his Mr. Hanks' head in the freezer is what won his first Emmy.
It was, yeah. Well, it was, he gave the greatest of the serial killer monologues in season 5 of The Practice, and you get an Emmy. So
Keith,
let me talk.
This just in. Keith, this just in. I love when we can break hot news on the pod. As we are recording this today, it will air tomorrow. So as we're recording this today, we have a big 60th birthday sharing the day after CEO Jen's birthday. Cameron Manheim's birthday is today. She turned 60.
Hey, Cameron Manheim, happy birthday, Cameron. Way to, be born.
Which is also, one of my producers, Sherry, is her birthday today as well. Lots of good birthdays this weekend.
Absolutely. Okay, well, what else we
All
got,
right,
Keith?
let me give you some more Emmy Awards. The Practice was nominated for Outstanding Casting for a Drama Series. Janet Gilmore and Megan McConnell lost. We were nominated for Outstanding Cinematography. Dennis Smith for The Deal lost. We were nominated for Outstanding Editing. Suzanne Mollis, The Day After, lost. We were nominated for Outstanding Sound Mixing. Clark King, David John West, Eric Klopinen,
We got it.
and David Donoff lost. We were nominated for Outstanding Drama Series. And the nominees are The West Wing, ER, Law and Order, The Practice, and The Sopranos. I believe we have a clip. Let's see who won.
And the Emmy goes to The West Wing.
Ah, God damn it.
Okay, all right.
The West Wing received
moving
the Emmy
forward.
in this category.
There it is. Up. They were nominated in the Golden Globes for Best Actor: Andre Braugher from Gideon's Crossing, James Gandolfini, The Sopranos, Rob Lowe for The West Wing, Martin Sheen for The West Wing, and Dylan McDermott for The Practice. And we lost to Martin Sheen. We were nominated for Best Television Series. The nominees are CSI, ER, The Sopranos, The West Wing, and The Practice. And we lost to The West Wing again.
Oh, man.
Okay, it is now time to talk about not the stupid awards like the Emmys and the Golden Globes and the stuff that doesn't matter. We have to talk about the real stuff. And that means the Season 5 Out of Practice podcast Oopsy Awards. Folks, are we excited? Are we psyched? I hope we're psyched, because this is a really big deal.
Should we roll the bumper?
Sure, roll it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Out of Practice podcast, in unofficial, unsolicited, unfactual association with David E. Kelly Productions, proudly present
Oopsy.
the Oopsy!
Just layering on a lot of
Celebrating
applause.
excellence in acting good, lawyering good, guesting good, and being Tom Brady. Not to mention, this is where we rate the episode and stuff. Now, here are your hosts, Keith and Mike.
What the hell are the Oopsies?
Well, they're the most important fake awards about The Practice. I think I can say that definitively. We are
Yeah.
the most important fake awards about The Practice.
100%.
And first up, the Out of Practice Podcast Season 5 Most Valuable Lawyer nominees: Helen Gamble, The Deal, Friends and Ex-Lovers, and Gideon's Crossover; Bobby Donnell, Appeal and Denial, Show and Tell, An Early Frost, The Day After, and What Child Is This? Harlan Bassett, Brothers Keepers, Home of the Brave, The Case of Harlan Bassett, and finally Jimmy Berluti from We Hold These Truths, The Confession, and Awakenings. Okay, we have some very important deliberations.
Some heavy hitters. Do you want to go by the analytics first? Should we start there?
Yes. So the analytics, which I need to pull up. Keep your pants on. Jesus. Where the heck did I write them down? Well, whatever. The analytics say that... what the hell? Where did I put these? You know what? You talk for a while, and I'll see if I can find the... This is a great episode.
What Keith just did was say, yes, let's look at the analytics, which, generally analytics are very specific. And then he said, who cares? The analytics. As if he was going to just summarize pulling them out of his ass and the midair.
I did save him somewhere.
I mean, I trust that you did. It sounds like, well, my guess is that clearly Harlan Bassett's not going to have the most MVLs, but he did have a big one.
Well, actually, these are the top 4. So the nominees, just to peel behind the curtain, the nominees always come from the actual analytics. So if I remember, I'm so disappointed now. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Well, you read them off, right? You read the name of the episodes.
The episodes that they won for. Yeah, but I don't have the actual numbers of how many they won. But I believe, if my memory is correct, that Helen Gamble actually was in first place with the analytics.
Yeah, and she's had a moral sort of journey this year with her cases. Most valuable. Well,
she won 8 MVLs between the two of us for the season.
Yeah, and her law sort of, her use of the system is really kind of a big portion of this season. In fact, good friend of the show, Phoenix Cage, was discussing her sort of code of ethics in the YouTube chats this week. But I keep coming back to Harlan and that little girl, and the amount of people, the precedent that case in our fictional universe sets. People coming for the drug company. And it's hard for me to shake it. Now, Bobby, I remember, did get himself out of prison, and he also got a lot of bad guys off this year.
That is true. Bobby was maybe should have been convicted for murder, but he didn't argue his own case.
Correct. I was going to just get that. He wasn't the lead counsel on that. And I'm trying to think, Jimmy, he's always a sleeper. What were some of his big hits this season?
Well, what Jimmy did was he won the giant $72 million verdict in the swing set case. So I believe, or was that Lindsay? Some of us should have, no, that totally was Lindsay. She won a big case. She won the biggest case of the season financially, and then went and had a baby. So she didn't do a lot of lawyering after that, because she's usually right up there in the MVLs. So I'm going to make a case.
Okay.
I'm going to make a case for either Helen or Harlan Bassett, because Helen, it depends on whether we consider her murdering lawyering. Because I don't necessarily think that we do. But the other thing that Helen did, she also, with working with Lucy, defended a lot, or tried to prosecute a lot of people dealing with sexual assault, and I think that is important. Although I think she gets dinged for
mansplaining.
For blaming the victim and not believing this, that, the other thing. But she was very effective. And whereas Harlan came up from a lower floor, we had lower expectations of Harlan. And he really uncovered his abilities there. And we discovered in the case of Harlan Bassett that his limitation was nerves and not ability.
Whereas Helen is showing not only can she lawyer by using all of the tools of the trade and pushing the boundaries as far as they can possibly go, but she was doing so under the highest of stakes, generally, be it in high stress cases, in the face of her colleague and friend being murdered, under the threat of her own murder. And so, look, I really want to give it to Harlan. I really do. But I do think that in a season of such an arc for Helen, I think she still proves that she can. Although I will say that the long tail of Harlan's case, like I said, the precedent it sets is going to continue valuable lawyering for years to come. But I my edge goes to Helen here. Well, that's my gut.
I hear you. I'm gonna make an argument for Harlan.
Please do. Because we need to be unanimous.
We need to be. That is the thing about the season Oopsies. Harland, if you remember, the first time we saw him, he did that brilliant switcheroo with his fake cousin, and did like the double switch and drove. I think it was Linda Hunt just absolutely up the wall. This is a television show. If I were in a jam and I needed to like get away with murder or something like that, I would want Helen in my corner. But if I wanted to watch a television show, if I wanted the most entertaining lawyer, it's definitely Harlan Bassett. Because when you get Harlan, you also get Eugene. You get the bonus of Eugene. So and their buddy cop story. So I think, just in terms of like who do I want to see on my screen that will make me happy every time. Helen might piss me off sometimes. She's exciting, but she might also just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
So Keith, what it sounds like to me is that it's a case here of Hakuna Matata versus Hakuna I'm gonna get you shotta. And it sounds to me like you're feeling more Hakuna Matata. And since this is a celebration of the season.
It is a celebration.
Let's celebrate and say Hakuna Matata, Harlan Bassett, MVL.
Season 5 MVL is Harlan Bassett. He came back. The unexpected victory at the last second again. Nobody thinks Harlan's gonna win, and Harlan did. He's not even a cast series
Keith,
regular.
did you check the Easter egg of the episode with the Rocky episode? What I put as the Easter egg reveal?
No, I didn't.
It is a you have to watch the last at least 5 minutes of the podcast because it's I found a weird gif of Harlan Bassett when he of
Ernie
Sabella when he was on Seinfeld. I'll see if I can play it here from the episode, but I'll roll it. But it's him when he was naked on the subway, and he's just like
I don't think I saw that.
He's just like fat and naked, and then I superimposed Rocky hitting the meat bags on top of him, so it's you have to go back and look at it, I guess.
Wow, yeah.
Scintillating.
This is the problem. Like we spend so much time on this. And so much effort, but we don't actually watch what we do.
No, Jen came in last week. She's like, hey, do you know that like none of the bumpers are playing? I was like, oh yeah, Keith told me they were broken and I just didn't put them in.
What are you doing? You put all of this effort in. All of this work.
All of this effort, yes. Those are words that should be used.
Wait, so the bumpers included the theme song. So there's like 45 seconds of silence.
No. You got all the bumpers played. The only thing that I was trying to edit out the stuff where, remember I was doubled on it?
Yeah.
So all you didn't hear was when you played Drowsy Chaperone, which rendered our whole 5-minute story about Drowsy Chaperone totally moot.
Speaking of moot.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wait, where's my sound?
Oh, it's going good, baby.
Oh no!
You know what? You just go with it. I'll do the sound. Nope. I've aborted that option.
Oh no! Hold on. Shit, we might have to cut again.
We'll cut again.
Oh wait, no, that's working.
Okay, no, now it stays in. Staying in.
Son of a pope.
Guys, we've been talking about this episode for days.
We try really hard, okay?
These guys try hard, but they suck.
We do try. We get drunk very early on a Monday.
And I'm drinking Diet Root beer.
This is just orange juice. I told Jen, after the mom belly comment, I'm trying to do better today. So do you have it? Are you good to go now?
It is time for the Out of Practice Podcast Best Guest Actor of Season 5. The nominees are Renee Aubergenois. For the episode We Hold These Truths, Ernie Sabella for Brothers Keepers, Home of the Brave, and The Case of Harlan Bassett, Michael Emerson for Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, and and Bruce Davidson for about 3/4 of the whole season. Thank you. Okay. I'm just gonna cut the music as opposed to fade it out. That's what happened. I faded out, and then when I hit it again, it was muted. Trying to be professional, and that's what ruins everything for us.
So this is actually a little bit interesting as well because
This is tough. This is gonna be a tough one.
look, we only won one Emmy,
We did.
and it was
Michael Emerson
Michael Emerson.
for Mr. Hinks.
And Mr. Hinks was great, although we found the arc to be a little unsatisfying the way they kind of just killed him off.
That's true, but that was the writing, not the performance.
Correct. Also, Bruce Davidson, he had an entire he got the full treatment. We got to see his mental breakdown and his murderings and his
He did
his stuff.
all of this work and didn't get the Emmy nom. You know what? I can tell you what he felt about not getting an Emmy nomination for all of that work.
Yeah, but he also he didn't get the hero kill off like our boy Richard Bay did, even though he was in more.
He
of
was
the
a regular
season.
cast member, so he's not eligible.
Correct, but it felt like Bruce was, is what I'm getting at.
Yes, it sure did. He didn't get a montage.
Rene, how do you say his last name?
Aubergenois.
Aubergenois sounds like a hockey player. He, you know what? I don't think he's going to win the Oopsie here, even though those Massachusetts chewing the sceneries he did quite a bit of it.
Yeah,
but he did get a bumper. If I'm not mistaken. He
did not. No, you're confusing him.
I sure am. I am. I pay a lot of attention to the show we watch.
You are. Yes, you are. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Yes, you were confusing him with.
We're not supposed to notice that you've been on the show before.
This is for you, Jorge.
But after a Super Bowl guest star, you've come charging back for more. So welcome back to the practice. We'll pretend that we don't recognize that you were here before in season 4, and you Massachusetts the scenery. First you were a judge who was a bit of a dick. Now you are a teacher who's a bit of a dick. In Silence of the Lambs you were a bit of a dick. In real life I'm sure that you're a really nice guy. Welcome back to the practice tonight.
Anthony Held, you did not get nominated this year, but you did get a bumper. No, Rene Aubergenois played the judge that Jimmy called Judge Judy.
Told the stories, right?
Told the stories, that's right.
So, and that was a great episode. But here's the thing, Keith. Now I'm going to make the case for Hakuna Matata.
Let's hear it.
We talked about Harlan Bassett often being dumb-dummed up like Jimmy got dumb-dummed in the writing. And then given these incredibly emotionally wrought scenes. And then that great close, we'll never forget that close. And we briefly discussed it on the episode itself, I believe, on the story of, or the case of Harlan Bassett. When you're written uneven like that, with peaks and valleys, it's very easy to overdo it and underdo it and come across cartoonish. And somehow, even looking the way he looks, and he's a character actor, he never came across as cartoonish. He somehow played those moments very grounded. And remember, we saw him at his lowest in that one court case, and then we saw him in his ultimate triumph. And I just think, Emmy aside, Michael Emerson aside, incredible. Mr. Hinks, great villain. I just don't think I'm going to remember. Harlan Bassett is what I will remember from this season when it comes to guest actors. And so that's, yes, it was late in the season, so that helped it, but that's where my heart is.
Yeah, that's interesting. And no, I think you're on the verge of convincing me. But I think someone needs to speak up for Michael Emerson, who's somewhere in Chelsea, saying, "I have an Emmy, so I don't necessarily need your fake award." But like that character, right? Mr. Hinks and that episode, Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, is one of the 3 things I would remember about the practice. You know, going back, that is the episode I would watch again first. And his performance in it is so legendary. It spawned so many more of his other characters were written with a lot of Hinks in it. And of course, like Bruce Davidson did really good work. I think we were annoyed by his character arc, but his work on the series was terrific. But yeah, I know. I gotta say, I think I might be with you. I think Ernie Sabella.
What kind of puts what teeters the saw for me is that's not a turn of phrase that anyone has ever said.
What teeters the saw?
I confused teeter-totter and seesaw and put them together in the same in a similar idiom, in the same idiom, and it became teeters the saw.
Yes, of course. What twirls the swing?
Hashtag teeters the saw. The saw. As creepy as Emerson was, and he's excellent. That was it. He was creepy. He was creepy and intimidating, right. and that's great TV. And he was great. I'm nothing taking away. I mean, he has the Emmy to show for it, but more was asked of Ernie Sabella. Now, granted, he was also decapitated, Michael Emerson. So that I think that I hope that fake head is something he was able to keep from set.
Which looked nothing like him. It was clearly like left over from an episode of Bonanza that they had in the stock room somewhere at Paramount.
Now it's going to be weird looking at the season Oopsies and seeing Ernie Sabella's face twice, but
I know.
I think he deserves it.
Well, okay.
I mean, we can call in a lifeline. We can ask CEO Jen to break a tie if we really need to, Keith. But
I think we might.
Hey, Jen.
Although I think I know where her heart is. But let's bring on the CEO.
CEO
who's
Jen.
in charge.
Please,
CEO Jen.
Please come here. You're live on the air. Come on in.
You're live on the air, Jen.
We have a tie. Come on in.
Oh.
We have a tie in best
What's
guest
up,
actor.
birthday girl?
She can't hear you. We have a tie between Ernie Sabella, right,
okay.
Hakuna Matata, and Harlan Bassett, or Michael Emerson, Mr. Hinks, the bad guy. We got to decide best guest actor.
It's so tough because bad guy versus everybody's favorite. Ernie. Oh.
Look, question is this.
I'm going Emerson. I'm sorry. You know what?
Wow.
Man, I'm going Emerson.
Wow.
So
I mean, he won an Emmy, Jen. He doesn't need it, but okay. All right.
Well, the CEO votes are binding and final.
Well, there you go. Looks like we had the old suck out, as they call it in poker.
Wow.
Teetered the saw. She teetered the shit out of that saw.
She teetered the saw. Somewhere in the world, Ernie Sabella's like, what the fuck?
I
so
want that
pissed.
B-roll. He's so mad. Emerson's like, okay, I'll put this right next to Miami.
Well, you know what? Ernie can put it next to his residuals from The Lion King.
Yeah, good call.
He's doing fine. All right, well, congratulations. Michael Emerson with the CEO save wins Best Guest
That's insane.
Actor.
Insane. Anything could happen here on the Oopsies.
Anything. Oh my God, the surprises are far and wide. We're gonna teeter the saw with the Out of Practice Podcast nominees for Best Actor for Season 5 include Kelly Williams for the episodes Germ Warfare, Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, and The Deal. Michael Badalucco. For offers. I've been talking loudly for too long. For officers of the court, we hold these truths. The Confession. Lara Flynn Boyle for summary judgments, appeal and denial, friends and ex-lovers, Gideon's crossover, and The Confession. And lastly, Dylan McDermott for summary judgments, The Deal, and Early Frost. And what child is this? Okay, Best Actor.
You know, before we get too deep into it, because I do have a pretty strong opinion here, I do want to highlight that A kind of interesting parallel I've found. This is out there, Keith. Between The Practice season 5 and The Golden Girls. In that The Golden Girls was originally written and conceived as a vehicle for B. Arthur, for the Dorothy character.
Right.
And the ensemble of that show sort of
I see where you're
changed the
going.
whole course
Yeah.
of writing, and it became an ensemble piece. And I feel very similarly here, whereas clearly Dylan McDermott was the kind of vehicle of the show in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And we've gotten away from that, not because of any demerits that he's earned, but because the whole ensemble, the power of this ensemble has really proven itself to be where the best part, the meaty bits of the show is. But this season, even with a diminished workload and some sort of, as is generally the case with Bobby, uneven storylines, he's always excellent. It's like we talked about before. Even when they ask him to go to 11 or 12, and they do that quite often this season, he's always pissed off Bobby. He still finds a way to keep it small and to keep it really intense and grounded. Even when Bobby's a dick to his fiance, his wife, he's still a real person with flaws and all. Even when he's up for murder, you could see those stakes. You could see how much he cared for his baby. He's just excellent. I'm talking myself into it right now. But my feeling prior to talking myself into it was with Lara Flynn Boyle, as we've spoken with, especially the last few episodes. This has really been her season. And
yes,
it began with the redemption of Helen. It then swerved and became the
it teetered the saw.
It teetered the saw into, what was Phoenix's new nickname for her? Really, Judge Helen Dredd.
That's very good. I didn't think I saw that.
Oh, you didn't see that? I'm gonna pull that up because it's actually a really insightful comment. So I'm torn between Bobby and Lara Flynn Boyle and Dylan McDermott. As great as Jimmy was, Michael Badalucco's always excellent. Kelly was excellent in getting blowed up and being pregnant and such. But my heart is between.
She wasn't blowed up, unless you're talking about the pregnancy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about now.
Okay.
I'm retconning my own comment. Let me pull up Phoenix's comment. And then,
while you do that, I will give I just quickly did the analytics here. So Lara won 9 Best Actor Oopsies. Michael won 5, Kelly won 5, and Dylan won 6.
Okay.
So Lara actually ran away with the actual Best Actor Oopsies in the analytics.
So the comment was, we were referring to Helen last week as Darth Helen.
Yeah, Helen McMurderer, lots of things.
And we were trying to come up with a good nickname, to which Phoenix said, if your argument is that Helen is lawful evil, then sure, she's Darth Helen. But I might argue that because she prioritizes order and justice over good or evil, she is lawfully neutral, making her Judge Helen Dredd. So,
Yeah, no, I actually agree with Phoenix there, and good D&D references. Very good. Phoenix, I hope you listen to my D&D podcast. I mean, honestly, if you're going to make a lawful neutral argument, you've got to be listening to Wisdom of One. Anyway, I think she is... Well, but is she lawful, though?
Well, that's the question.
Because murdering people is not lawful. She's not using the law to murder somebody. Well, I guess she did. I mean, she's always using the police to do it. I don't know. We should do like a separate podcast about what all of these characters' D&D inclinations are.
Oh, that's funny.
Because she's certainly the most complex, because she's not evil. She's just willing to do whatever it takes to do what she thinks is right, including murdering people.
With the tools she has at her disposal.
Yeah, with what she has. Interesting. All right, I'm going to give that some more thought, Phoenix, because I think that's good. Anyway, so...
as an actress.
As an actress. I mean, I personally... I think I agree with what you said. I think it is Helen's season. I think it's Lara Flynn Boyle's season. And I said this last week that I really like them writing the character as complex as she is. And this season, she wasn't just written as like this sexy lady grabbing dicks and like having pie fights with with Lindsay. And this actually allowed her to be the character that she is. Her relationship with Richard Bay wasn't about who's going to fuck whom. It was about the idea of the law and the idea of being a prosecutor. And I think we saw the whole range of what being a prosecutor can be through Helen's arc. The good, the bad, and the neutral. And I think, yeah, I mean, my vote's for Lara Flynn Boyle. I really, Dylan had some terrific work. His arc about being accused of murder or charged with murder, I would definitely, this could have been Dylan's season with that, but they sort of threw that into just like a couple of episodes. That arc felt very underweight to me. Whereas Helen really just beginning, middle, and ending of the season carried the show a little bit. Lara Flynn did.
Yeah, I can't find any reason to argue against that, and so I think it's pretty unanimous.
Wow, look at that! Wait, is Ernie Sabella going to steal it again anywhere?
No, Jen is back to the puzzle. So,
okay, well, congratulations, Lara Flynn Boyle, with your season 5 Best Actor. Oopsie! Wow. All right, it is now time for the best episode of Season 5 of The Practice. The nominees are Show and Tell, Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, The Confession, and The Case of Harlan Bassett. Okay. This is, I think, this is what's interesting about Season 5. Because we're going to talk about it in the tires. Enough with the applause. We're going to talk about it in the tires. That Season 5, we talked about it earlier, is very inconsistent and doesn't finish their thoughts very well. The storylines don't really finish that well. However, in terms of individual episodes, I think this has the greatest collection of individual episodes of the whole series. And just Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, The Case of Harlan Bassett, The Confession even, I just think are dynamite episodes of television. And it's going to be really hard to pick a best episode here because I think any one of these 4 might win any other season. And yeah, so give me your thoughts.
Well, remind me the plot summary of Show and Tell.
Show and Tell was the fake documentary about Bruce Davidson's the actual case, the first time before they reconvicted him and shots fired and such. So it was I think Alex Graves directed it. It was the one the sort of the sequel to the mockumentary from season 2. Same documentary crew and just it was just about that one case and was sort of splicing and interviewing of the characters, doing sort of talking heads as we saw the case unfold.
We love The Case of Harlan Bassett so much, and I think the IMDb folks and all the people who watch the show do because it encapsulates that underdog story. And it's one of the few times that you get the celebratory, elating release.
Feel good.
Yeah. A nice, good old-fashioned release at the end of the episode. Now, The Confession, which one is that? Is that season finale?
The Confession was the exploration of that the guy that, speaking of Helen, got to sort of do tricked into a confession.
Right.
And then we sort of went through several rounds of the court system appealing it and finally getting the case thrown out. because of Helen's shitty way that she got the confession. She pretended that was the one where George W. Bush is like, George W. Bush is gonna execute you in Massachusetts and this, that, the other thing, and the governor's here, and it was all a lie.
Yeah, that I think legally that one really stands out as it was one of those ones that discusses the issues more neutrally than generally is the case. There's no real finger on either side of the seesaw as much, and we always enjoy that. It's hard not to really focus in on Mr. Hinks Goes to Town and the case of Harlan Bassett. As we have stated, at this point in the sort of run of the series, they're able to really focus in when they are able to bring on an incredible guest star and let them do the heavy lifting and take away some of the baggage of maybe storylines that we have written ourselves into a corner or whatever might be happening in the sort of grand arc at the time. Once again, it's tough at this point because Harlan Bassett's so fresh in our minds. But I am thinking back to the sort of arc that brought us Mr. Hinks Goes to Town. And Mr. Hinks Goes to Town was the first, correct?
That was the first one. That was where the actual trial where he was saying, I'm a serial killer, and convinced his therapist that he was lying. And so he did the whole turnaround by telling the truth in such a way as to make us believe it was a lie. And that's why he got off for murder.
As far as analytics goes, which got our highest ranking?
Here we go. So Show and Tell got 8.625. The Confession got 8.72. The Case of Harlan Bassett got 9.435. And Mr. Hinks Goes to Town got 9.925.
So that's as close as we will ever give to a perfect score.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, I gave Mr. Hinks Goes to Town a perfect 10.
Okay, so my instinct is, once again, to go to Hakuna Matata and say that episode, there were ups, there were downs, there were shouts. But I am leaning towards believing my great score and believing the perfect 10 and honoring it. So give me your strong, since you do research, give me your strong argument for Hinks.
Well,
he's already got an Emmy and an Oopsy season award. So
that's true. That's true. Well, Mr. Hinks Goes to Town appeals to the kid in me. I love the twists and turns and the scenery chewing and the murder, and he's exciting and he's the bad guy and it's like twisty turny. The Confession appeals to the adult in me, which all of the interesting, complex, not dumbed down exploration of the legal arguments and your rights during a interrogation. And I found that really fascinating, and that appeals to the adult. The Case of Harlan Bassett appeals to the guy in me who needs a hug. And
that guy's large these days.
So getting harder and harder to hug. But I'll tell you this. The one reason I choose Mr. Hinks Goes to Town is if I had Desert Island, you can take one VHS copy of one episode of The Practice. I do Mr. Hinks Goes to Town. And I'll tell you why. Because it's more rewatchable. It's more interesting. Once you know what the outcome is going to be, once you know the twist, once you know the verdict, I want to go back and watch that again to see how it unfolded with that knowledge, to watch Emerson's performance, to watch him play everyone like a fiddle, because you watch it the first time like, I don't know what's happening here. I don't know. Is he evil? Is he not? Is he did it or not? And then you watch it the second time, it's like, all right, how did he pull this off? How did he do that? Whereas the Case of Harlan Bassett, once you know he wins, it sort of neuters the stakes previously. And all of the, like you see how nervous and how much, and of course you know he's going to win. But like to know it for sure, all of the machinations leading up to it have lower stakes once we know that he won.
Well, look, I'm gonna bolster that by, as I've marinated on a little bit. Episodes of television are forever, right? Like classic episodes of television are forever.
Well, they are now, yeah.
Yeah, but you know what is more memorable than a great episode of television, a great moment of television. And for me, obviously, as our audience knows, I'm ill prepared for everything we do. Even remembering the hot bits of these episodes I just watched this season, in spending 100 hours with you, Keith, elude me. But that moment of realizing, damn, he premeditated all of this. He pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. Even though I questioned the therapist from the beginning, I still didn't know that he was playing a trick on a trick on a trick.
Right.
I know that you know that he knows that I know. And that in that moment, I remember just being dumbfounded. It's an excellent performance. It's a great piece of writing. It was a great acute hand of directing to not lay it on so thick that we knew from the beginning, so that we kind of went along for the ride. That moment encapsulated a great episode in what has turned out to be a pretty good season. So I think you're right in that Mr. Hinks Goes to Town, not that we need to shower it with any more praise. I think it is generally accepted as one of the best episodes, if not the best episode. I think we're along for that ride. And I think we have to pat Mike and Keith on the back for our ratings at the time and award it at the end of the season.
And there it is. The winner is Mr. Hinks Goes to Town. Somehow we're still doing the Tom Brady Award for being Tom Brady. The nominees are Feasting on Fingernails, Tom Brady.
T-Moon, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady getting steamy in his car listening to Creed, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady jamming with Ray Charles and Judge Judy Brady.
Non sequitur Dunkaroos product placement, Tom Brady.
8-month pregnant Tom Brady.
Millions of dollars coming out of his ass, Tom Brady.
Poisonous swing set, Tom Brady.
Pimpin' Brady.
Satire overkilled Tom Brady.
Harland Brady running up the Philadelphia Art Museum steps, Tom Brady.
Keith and Mike being crushed under the weight of Tom Brady and his 7 Super Bowl trophies, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's uniform caught in the trunk of a car as it speeds away, Tom Brady.
How long have I been in that Tupperware, Tom Brady?
Lara Flynn Brady, Tom Brady.
But I'm not pregnant, Tom Brady.
Crossing over, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady having a baby. I think that one wins.
He didn't even read it.
Oh, Tom Brady having a baby delivered by CC Power.
Tom Brady throwing a bomb, but a literal bomb, Tom Brady.
Cue Brady.
Tom Brady's head in Keith's actual freezer, Tom Brady.
Lucy finding Tom Brady's lifeless body in her desk drawer, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady eating a Helen McBobby sandwich, Tom Brady.
And that's all the Tom Bradys. Oh. Ooh, girl.
Ooh. Oh, I'm sad for the world that they don't get to see how many times we had to work on that.
Yeah, that
to
didn't
make that
go
happen
as smoothly as we had really hoped.
Yeah, you know what's going to go more smoothly? The legal case against us if anything ever happens to Tom Brady. Because I don't think I realized it until just then how many times we horribly murdered Tom Brady. Or you did. Not me. I did not come up with him.
To the point where we had to actually make a self-referential comedy bit about that we overkilled him.
We decapitated Tom Brady twice in 22 episodes. He was found lifeless in several things, including a drawer and a Tupperware. He crossed over. Mm-hmm.
He showed up on Star Trek. He literally crossed over.
This is not good. We are definitely in trouble if anything ever happens.
Now, two things I'd like to point out before we move on. Number one is that, to the chagrin of probably everyone listening, going through those has solidified my absolute commitment to this segment because that is funny. But the one that made me laugh the most, and it's not even one I did myself, although I will say that the Tupperware one does make me chuckle. They're all incredible, but this one particularly, simply because his face is so perfectly analogous to the situation we've put him into. That's my pick.
Tom Brady having a baby. Tom Brady having a baby delivered by CCH Pounder. Yeah, no, I like it. I like it. I think it's specific. It's actually a scene. The picture is a scene from the episode itself. So, yeah, no, I think I'm with you. So, congratulations to Tom Brady having a baby delivered by CCH Pounder as the winner of the Tom Brady Award for being Tom Brady. Oh my God!
Did we do it?
We did not, because we have the biggest award of them. We have to give out some season tires for the practice season 5.
Oh, good God.
All right.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Did you do a collective? Did you do a season average?
I sure did. I did have my analytics for this. Okay, for the season, with rankings going as high as 10 and as low as 4.5, I gave this season an episode ranking of 7.68. You, with rankings as high as 9.85 and as low as 6, although both of the low numbers are fake because that was the Gideon's crossover, which I have to say is definitely non-canon in the practice and the out of practice podcast. Non-canon. That was some fanfic that went horribly wrong.
Everything about that went a direction that not even we could have anticipated.
We don't do the worst episode anymore because the practice is too good. But if we did one for Oops, that would be a series low. Anyway, you gave this season a 7.84 average spare tires. Now, in case you're wondering, because who isn't, how did that compare to season 4? Well, you liked this season 2/100ths of a point more than last season. And I liked last season 7/100ths of a point better than this season. So the season average was 7.76. Last season was 7.79. And for comparison, the lowest one is season 1 at 6.77.
So, like the arc of the entire series, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And this season had a rough start for me, if I recall. The Bruce Davidson thing just got a little long. And we were really questioning at multiple points where we were going. But also, the crossovers as a whole, I feel, were not helpful.
No.
Of course, it's hard to view them. You can't view some of them in the scope of practice because they weren't really on this show, obviously.
Right.
But man, did we bring it home strong. The last 6 episodes are real strong episodes this season. And that has really changed my viewpoint. Actually things changed a little bit for me when I realized that, oh my God, there's 8 seasons. And because I keep waiting for Bobby to leave, right? That's like the big shoe I'm waiting to drop from the ceiling or the sky or however, from the seesaw.
The teeters from the seesaw.
I love, there wasn't a huge cliffhanger this season, but yet I still am just so fascinated to see where we're gonna go next. What happens with Helen? What do we do with that character? Where's Bobby's head at? Where's Eugene? Where is anyone's head at? It's really kind of cool, and it really rewards longtime watchers. That said, there were quite a few missteps this season, or just in the sake of uneven writing and some just like scenes that kind of felt like out of nowhere, and some decisions and even some like trolling that took place. by dropping the name of other episodes and shows. Just like there was clearly some stuff happened that I wish we could be privy to that we're not. Strong season. And it had probably the best episode of the series.
Yeah. Possibly the best too.
It's hard not to. It's really hard to do this. I want to give it a straight 8.0.
Okay.
Just like a straight 8.0. I feel like it's in the upper echelon. I like it better. I like where we got. And I want to leave a little buffer for where we're going.
Okay. And for point of reference, for season Oopsies last year, you gave it 8.5.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That feels great then. Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Yeah. No, I feel similarly to you. I think season 5 definitely had the highest highs, but it was the most inconsistent. It didn't have some of like the real stinkers like season 2 had. Yeah. You had it, Sex, Lies, and Monkeys. It did not have any like terrible episodes. It did have some missteps. We certainly really did not like the undercutting of Lindsay's storyline as the rape counselor. And I think that was the biggest misstep of the season. The crossovers definitely hurt it. Mm-hmm. Like, it was not helped by either crossover. It was the season I was most aware of it being a television show. It felt like it was the most interfered with season from the network, including the crossovers and also like the referencing the other show that they'd crossed over. You can't live in the same universe as Boston Public and yet still have it exist on the thing. Stuff like that is, I get it. It's like a little inside joke. You're trying to help your show but it's just kind of sloppy. Mm-hmm. And this isn't the type of show that can do that. 30 Rock can do that. And in fact, Boston Legal, those of you who have seen it, that plays with the fourth wall a little bit, but The Practice doesn't. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I feel like it really did sort of, it was a little disappointing that they couldn't all be at the level of these great episodes. And of course, you can't have a Mr. Hinks Comes to Town every single week. It doesn't make in context, it would weaken Mr. Hinks Comes to Town. But you can just do a little bit better storytelling. I think there's missed opportunities. Bobby's case getting tried for murder. I wanted to rewrite the end of that. I wanted to rewrite the end of Public Servants, and there were just sort of some missed opportunities. Now, that said, if I have 10 episodes to watch of the entire series, like 3 or 4 of them are from season 5. So that's kind of a big deal. So I'm actually, last season I gave a 9. And I think that while this season has episodes that are peak The Practice, that are the pinnacle of The Practice, the season itself was very, very good, but not quite there. So I'm going to give it 8.5 spare tires. I think I liked it a little bit more than you did, interestingly.
8.25. There we are.
But we both lost half a tire from season 4. But a very interesting season, a very compelling season. And
the table's set. The table is set. So congratulations on your 8.25. And now it's time every meal should be finished with a little dessert. So I'm going to start, Keith. I'm going to.
You're going to start
right before you start. Yeah, because
shit.
I got some things, some little things, but I know you blew it out a little bit more. First, I want to point out, I want to thank CEO Jen again for giving the green light for us for season 6. I'm sure our longtime listeners agree, but I want to leave a little bit of. I want to whet the appetite. We've been told that sex sells, and we need to sex up the show a little bit. So I have 2 little things here, Keith, to show just a tidbit of where we're going in This Day in the Basement and beyond. Where we are headed, before the end of the run of the practice, Keith and I will meet, literally.
We will.
I just want to remind people, I'm not going to give away too much, but I just want people to know that I do have the receipts. And at some point, we're going to get to see some hot moves.
Oh my God, that wig! Jesus Christ!
I had to keep. There are bits of it that you have forbade me to ever show.
You're damn right.
I found about 16 frames that
you could show without me quitting the podcast.
But
This is me. I'm the guy in the horrible blonde wig and white pants playing the violin.
But my favorite part of this actually is more inside to Keith and I. It's just that the guy in the middle is our colleague Devin, and he is. They had to reuse cast members in this show because there weren't enough of us to go around. So they just put that terrible little mustache on him.
Time to make the donuts.
No one will know it's you. It's just clearly him with a mustache. Oh, it's terrible. Okay, so that's one thing. One thing I wanted to show. Also, some great moves there, Keith. I think we all are.
No, I really. Yeah, yeah. This is why you need to go on the YouTube because that's worth a. It's worth a view.
And the last thing I want to show here, we won't actually get to this portion of our lives, Keith, but I do want to share it because people asked for more sex on the podcast.
Yeah.
And to embarrass the hell out of both of us, I'm going to show you that sex does sell.
Oh, God. Will I my God.
Get ready for it, folks.
Jesus Lord. Oh, jeez, I'm crow.
And back to I guess that was the West Wing winning.
Yeah, apparently. Wow. Yeah, first off, until I saw that, didn't even know that existed.
Mm-hmm. It does.
First off, that was a song that Stuart McMeans wrote, and at some point, we should play the recording of the whole song because I think that particular song is a masterpiece.
Yes, it's very good.
Good job, Stewie. And you know how I said that when I bought this coat, I was like 65 pounds lighter?
Yes.
I was maybe 10, 15 pounds lighter than that even there. I was probably, good Lord, eat a sandwich. I was probably 165 pounds for that, which is no longer true, in case you're wondering. So that was, that was a thing. I tell that story sometimes. I was doing a show called Take One, which I also had to kiss a dude in, who is the guy on Drag Race now. There's this little girl there who called me up after the show and was like, "Hey, I just have a question." I'm like, yeah. I was like, "What's it like kissing a guy?" And I was like, "Well, it's pretty much the same as kissing a girl, except for one thing that I found very surprising the first time I did it, and that was stubble."
Yep.
That was, it's especially on stage because you're performing a character. Like, you know, you're kissing people you're not interested in all sorts of times. And so it's like your character, you're just acting, you're doing your shit. But the stubble, that
takes you out of it a little bit.
I was like, what? That was the thing. So there it is, folks. You're welcome.
So where do you want to start, Keith?
Okay, I would like to start with my favorite audio clip of this season, which unfortunately, because we don't videotape during the episode, we don't have video for this. But this is a particular piece of glory from our friend, Mr. Indeglio, after we won the case of the poisonous slides, which caused a certain medical condition that will be referenced. Please enjoy.
Madam Foreperson, the jury has rendered its verdict.
We have, Your Honor.
What say you?
In the matter of Stephen Jameson et al. Versus the Environmental Protection Agency, we find in favor of the plaintiff and order the defendant to pay damages in the amount of $72 million.
Holy shit!
Lindsay's the Rainmaker!
Wah, wah, wah! Wife was right. Wife was right. I don't care that my ass is leaking. I'm just gonna plug it up with money. Millions and millions. Plug my ass with millions. Millions and millions of dollars in my ass to protect it from that anal leakage the slide caused.
Yes! Oh, I'm setting that to a beat later.
Massachusetts, chew my ass, EPA.
So, do you remember having done that? That was a...
That's a thing I did, yes. I do now remember that.
That was a real thing, and we were all better for it.
That's funny.
The next one is a video clip, and this was for the crossover with Boston Public. We had our good friend Anthony Held playing Vice Principal Goober. I don't remember. And we were handing him his Oopsy Award, and this happened.
On the show.
Well, I think we have a toss-up between Dookie...
Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts.
Dookie.
Massachusetts.
Dookie.
Massachusetts. Massachusetts.
Massive Dookie.
It's...
Dookie. Oh, Anthony Held, I truly, profoundly wish that you have listened to the last episodes.
Goober doesn't even sound like Dookie.
That makes no sense at all.
Oh, God damn it. Let me Dookie.
On the show.
Well, I think we have a toss-up between Dookie... Oh, shit.
Oh, my God. I get Massachusetts.
In Massachusetts.
Dookie.
Massachusetts.
Dookie. Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, you losing your shit is something that I enjoy a great deal. You laughing at your own antics for an outrageous amount of time is one of my favorite things.
Oh, I'm just an asshole, that's why.
Now, I'm gonna leave us with something a little bit more serious.
Okay.
Which we recorded on just the day after the assault on our Capitol, the insurrection, and we were both feeling, kind of torn up, kind of upset about what had happened with our country. And so you'll see on this video we have flags behind us, and we so. In the interest of how serious a situation that was, this is how we finished the show.
God damn it! You're setting me up to be. Should I superimpose myself?
You should definitely superimpose yourself again. That was awesome.
All right, here we go. In all seriousness, our country depends on people like you being compassionate. And we urge you to do so. Laser sounds, bombs bursting in air with laser sounds.
Laser sounds. Really stuck the landing there, didn't we?
Holy shit, that's bad. That's bad even for me. Bombs bursting in air with lasers.
I'm going to advocate for compassion. Bombs Bombs bursting in air. Lasers.
I'm going to call for national unity, but I really need to impress upon you this stupid, silly pun I tried to end the episode with, which I've never successfully done.
I can see the wheels turning. How are you going to go from compassion? How are you going to get from that to Laser?
We just lambasted them for trying to shoehorn in the crossover's name into the title, and yet I still got to get Laser Sounds in, man.
And I can see, as you panicked, you saw the... and that kept going. I'm so sad you faded it out because that was... Wow. That bombs bursting in air, laser sounds.
One of my other favorites was, when we were just talking about the kind of legacy of your grandfather. And right. I'm trying to get in some sort of heavenly thing. And I was like, I'm talking to an atheist. Here's a guy. I'm like, let me try to make sure his grandpa is doing advocacy work in the afterlife.
Well, that's not even the part that I remember about that, because it finishes. And I'm talking he was a good man. He left the world a better place. And then I was convinced that Charlie, the cat, had shit under my desk because he farted so hard under my desk. Shit entered all of the, you could chew it in the air.
Oh man.
So, thanks, Grandpa.
We did it, folks. We got to season 6.
We did it, yeah, and we've been renewed for season 6. So, folks, thank you. We always sort of finish the season with a thank you to you, our loyal audience, and we really, really appreciate you sticking around and communicating with us and being a part of it with us. I think that's it's a big deal for us. I mean, this podcast really isn't believe me, it's not going to lead to fame and fortune, but it is something that I enjoy greatly, and it is a highlight of my week to get to hang out with you, Mike, and to, do some stupid shit.
Yeah, as the numbers have borne out, not only, it's great to have a lot of you to chit-chat with and joke with and meme with in real time. But I recognize that a lot of you are way behind and will watch this well after we're finished and or listen. So, for those of you who have been with us in real time, a hearty thank you, not just for listening and having a ball with us, but this has been a year that
sure has.
I don't think anyone will soon forget. And our little community here has been in no small part one of the ways I've gotten through it up here. Yeah. And so thank you to you, Keith, to those listening. And those of you who are just a part of the team listening on your drive somewhere, we wish you health and the best of luck in whatever time you're listening. And we look forward to seeing where this little ragtag band of misfits go in season 6.
Yes, indeed. Well, folks, you have gotten through the Season 5 Oopsy Awards. Thank you so much. If you would like to reach out and talk to us, tell us who your season Oopsies were. You can email us at outofpracticepodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Out of Practice Podcast. Check out our blog, outofpracticepodcast.blogspot.com. While you're there, you're already on the internet, you're typing shit, you're thinking about the show, do us a huge favor, join the jury, leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or any other podcasting service of your choice. We will read it on the air. We will welcome you personally to the jury. The Out of Practice Podcast is brought to you by generous donations from Leanne Wrights, Cloudlover69, Jorge Navoa, and Jennifer Masanova.
You know what? They're the only ones that give us money.
That's true.
But you can too.
I mean, have we checked lately? I don't know.
I don't know, but
somebody out there gave us $10,000. It's like, fuck you!
At one point, somebody gave us money. Maybe you will too, or maybe you have better uses for it, in which case, please do. In the interim, I just want to say, bombs bursting in air to Dookie and beyond. Laser Sounds. See you next week.
Laser sounds.